We're back. A podcast tale. No, wait, not the same?
What?
Are those not the same?
Podcast what?
No, I said we're back. A podcast tale. But I don't know if you were actually...
Dinosaur Tale.
Yeah,
I get it.
But I don't know if you were singing the theme song to that movie because I've never seen it and I don't really know.
I was singing
I don't think I've seen it.
The really obscure theme song to the old National Geographic videos they would put out.
Oh, Lord. From like the 70s? Yeah.
No, from the 80s and 90s.
I'm okay.
With the graphics and everything they would have.
The little spinning square? Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that stuff. Yeah. They used to show those to us all the time in school. And everybody would be like, oh, this is boring. And I'm like, yes, National Geographic. Everybody else is going to go to sleep. This is going to be an easy 50 minutes.
But it wasn't boring. It was exciting and intense.
I liked watching National Geographic fight me.
I liked watching it as well.
Yay. It's fun. Go along. It's fine.
This intro was brought to you by the letter I for Indoorfins, because this is the show that we are doing right now.
Hi, we're called the Indoorfins.
I'm Ethan.
I'm Tuesday.
And this is the Indoorfins podcast.
Yay. Welcome to the Indoorfins podcast.
Yes. During the week of August the 18th of the year of 2018. That was a tongue twister right there.
Yeah. We're kind of inconsistent, but like it's because we have real lives. I got a real job and like takes up a lot of my schedule, and we're just kind of like working around and through everything so that we can like reschedule to make sure that we're like doing this on a regular basis again. So I apologize for us being kind of spotty on social media and such. That's mostly on me. My life is changing in a lot of different ways, and I'm adjusting. And we'll get back to uploading on a regular basis very, very soon.
No, everybody is working for the weekend.
Everybody is waiting for the weekend.
As the song goes.
Every day's the weekend.
Yep.
Because I go to work and then I do what I love anyway. It's just on the weekend I don't have to actually go to work first. So
that's a good point.
I do what I want all the time. I just sometimes have to go to work. That's how I look at it. My job doesn't control me. I control my job. My job's a part of my life. It doesn't mean I have to like be defined by it. Screw that.
So, if you were listening to us last week, you realized that we had, first of all, a rather long show. That is not usual.
That is not typical. You will not be here for another 2 hours and 36 minutes.
Yes. Second, we announced that we were launching finally our other platforms. We have the YouTube channel up and running. We have our Facebook page. We have our Twitter. We have Instagram.
Yes,
we do have Instagram.
We are the Indoorfins Podcast, 317 on Instagram. On Twitter, we are at Real Endorphins. On Facebook, we are the Indoorfins Podcast, 317. Because on YouTube, where you are listening to us, we are the Indoorfins Podcast, Indianapolis.
Correct. And now, for the very first time, you can pay us to do what we love to do and get the content directly to your ears and eyes on occasion, because we have now officially launched our Patreon page called Ethan and Tuesday are creating sports and lifestyle podcast. That's the title of the well, it's supposed to be the Indoorfins Podcast Patreon
Technical difficulties.
page. Technical difficulties. We're gonna have to get that ironed out, but the Patreon page is up and running. You can visit us at www.patreon.com/endorphins, and I think that's all you need to type in, or /overview, and then you can click on become a patron, and we have 2 tiers right now. Just small tiers, a $1 or a month donation, and you get the fan appreciation tier. And we will put your name in the credits of our podcast videos we upload to our YouTube channel. Hopefully it'll be once a week. Sometimes it'll get delayed. We'll try to let everybody know on our Facebook page more often, now that we have this Patreon account. And $3 or more a month we get a fan shout out and appreciation. So that means not only will you put your name in the credits, we'll also give you a shout out on air, meaning during the podcast. So once you've donated on the Patreon page and we see your name on there, we'll give you a shout out at the beginning of our podcast and say, we'd like to give a special fan shout out and appreciation to these people who have donated to our Patreon and are helping us achieve this greatness right now.
And once I have my own personal recording stuff in order, all of my I need the technology to upload and stuff myself. Once I have that up and running, the people who donate the $3 a month, the higher tier on our Patreon, will also receive an exclusive podcast from Tuesday.
And we also have one other goal, is if we reach $100 a month in donations, we will interview at least one patron a month. So I know that's a small kind of goal / thing to do, but we're not there yet. So once we get there, we might sweeten the deal, add some more stuff to it, but that's the baseline for what we're going to do once we reach that.
Once everything starts falling into place, we'll be able to add more things to these.
Because we're getting $100 a month coming in.
That would be
We're
great.
doing something pretty good.
We could send somebody something every single month. We could send somebody something nice every single month if we get to that point.
Yeah, we could send... Oh, I didn't even think of that. We could send people gifts.
Yes.
Ah.
Exactly. So, yeah.
Look at this. See, we're coming up with stuff right now.
But see, that's the thing. We need you to help us in the very beginning stages and say, we're going to jump on this train from day one so that we can tell all of our friends about it. If we can be the cool one who told all of our friends about the cool podcast from Indianapolis that, sends prizes and stuff.
Give shout outs, put your name in the credits.
Exactly. We'll show up at your house. We have cake, balloons, celebrate your birthday. No? Okay, that's a bit much. I won't throw your birthday party for you. But I will shout out your birthday.
On that last part.
I'll shout out your birthday. I will shout out your birthday. Tell us it's your birthday. We'll shout out your birthday. Happy birthday.
So.
And we'll wish your favorite teams good luck and stuff. Tell us all that kind of stuff.
And we might even have,
we're involved.
Eventually a possible live chat room.
Yeah. And if we get up and running, we need to get to the point where we can have super chat and stuff. But yeah, I'd love to have a live chat room where we could actually talk to people outside of the podcast. Kind of have a Discord or something like that, or a room. It's where we can have all of the fans come together and they can talk about sports and whatever else is going on in their lives. It'd be a great time.
I like it. I dig it.
I can get behind that.
Can you dig it? Okay. So.
Yes, I can.
Now that we've gotten all the rigmarole, all the technical stuff out of the way, it's time for the main event.
Welcome back.
To the Indoorfins. Welcome back.
No.
Okay.
Don't do it.
You thought I was going to play the song?
I know the reference. I don't. It's weird.
What? It's Welcome Back, Cotter.
That's the thing. I've never seen the dang on show before. We've had this conversation.
It's got John Travolta in it.
We've had this conversation before. I've never seen the show
before
in my entire life.
I'm sorry. The only reason I've seen it is because it comes on late at night.
John Travolta's not even a dude like that.
Hey, man, what are you talking about, man?
I like John Travolta, but
I know. This is 70s John Travolta, though. Saturday Night Fever.
Yeah, that's the greasy John Travolta.
Literally grease John Travolta.
Yes.
All right, so...
He was a grease ball with a name. There's a lot of grease in there.
We're going to get...
Completely distracted. Yeah. I know. It's fine.
No, you're good. I wasn't going to say distract. I was going to say legal action, all this... No, I'm just kidding. All right, so in sports news...
We're starting.
The NFL preseason is upon us. We are in week 2. I know we're a little bit late to the gun on this, but we have the scores for this week. If you follow the preseason at all, which you should a little bit.
Which least. I normally don't.
Yeah, I know. And to be fair, I can't even watch the games unless it's a Colts game. So, it doesn't even matter. Because they don't play him on the TV. Philadelphia Eagles lost to the New England Patriots 37-20. However, oh yeah, Carson Wentz and Nick Foles. I don't believe. Oh yeah, Nick Foles did play. He played for I think 2 series. He had 9 pass attempts and 3 completions and 44 yards.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah. He also had 3 sacks.
Pretty anemic.
So, Tom Brady was 19 for 26 for 172 yards and 2 touchdowns. Kind of getting revenge for that Super Bowl. However, it is the preseason.
And it doesn't actually matter.
Ha! That's right. The points don't matter. Okay, that's right.
It's like playing Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Yep, that's the reference.
Game's made up. Game's made up. Points don't matter. Just do what we want.
It's just like a preseason game in the NFL. All right. The New York Jets took on Washington, and they lost 15-13. I actually caught the highlights from this. It was a last-second field goal, I believe, was how they won this game. And Teddy Bridgewater started, and he went 10 for 15 for 127 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception.
Looking
2
good.
sacks. Yeah, he looked good in the first game.
Well, we need to protect him. I don't know about that interception or the 2 sacks.
He did look good in the first game. But yeah, I think they are definitely planning on having him be the starter over Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold went 8 for 11 for 62 yards and an interception. On the other side, Colt McCoy, Alex Smith got the start. 4 for 6 for 48 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Sounds like Alex Smith. The safest quarterback in the NFL, next to Tyrod Taylor. Yeah, nothing much to see here. We'll see what the Jets decide to do, if they're going to stick with Teddy Bridgewater over Sam Darnold. I think they will, because Teddy Bridgewater is a really, I was going to say a really good quarter. Like he's not great yet, but he's really good.
He hasn't passed that last threshold.
Yeah. Like, he's on the level of Matthew Stafford, I'd say.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like, he could lead a team to the playoffs, but he has injury problems.
You got to get past that last bit, which is to pick it up in the playoffs at the end of the season.
Yeah, exactly. The Steelers, I caught the highlights for this game. It was awesome. The Packers just pounded the Steelers 51-34. And it was...
Goodbye, Steelers.
48-21, I believe, at one point.
Goodbye, Steelers.
Yeah. Ben Roethlisberger was only in for 1 series, and then they switched out to Dobbs and Rudolph. Rudolph got crushed, 3 sacks for 20 yards, 5 for 12. The Packers, Aaron Rodgers, 2 for 4 for a touchdown, and then he's out. They don't want him hurt at all. Let's see. Brett Hundley looked really good, even though he was sacked twice. But I saw he was making some really good throws that I didn't see him make last season at all. And so it makes me think that he's been improving over the last season to solidify that second team, what's the word? Second place spot on the team.
You're the backup.
Backup quarterback. Why in the world couldn't I figure out backup quarterback? And Deshaun Kaiser actually, he was playing with the third team, but he was 7 for 12 for 2 touchdowns and 149 yards. So, it's kind of weird. Change the scenery from Cleveland to Green Bay, and suddenly you're throwing 2 touchdowns without an interception, and you're like, hey,
maybe I could do this.
Maybe it wasn't the player.
Sometimes it's the system. Tom Brady.
Chiefs beat the Falcons 28-14. Patrick Mahomes, 8 for 12, 138 yards, 1 TD, 1 interceptions. Matt Ryan, 5 for 7, 90 yards, a touchdown. Looking fantabulous out there. Matt Schaub is his backup quarterback, which I completely missed because he's the most boring person ever. Chad Henne, wow, that kind of spiked. Chad Henne lit it up 8 for 10, 85 yards and a touchdown. Wow. So all the Chiefs receivers combined for 25 and 32, 271 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. That's pretty darn good stats for 3 separate quarterbacks. They only had 7 incomplete passes in between all three.
It's going to be hard to make a decision.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I mean, that's what you would hope for. Anyway.
Patrick Mahomes is going to be their starter because nobody's going to start Chad Henne. He's been in the league, 11 years, I think? 12 years?
Chad Henne has made a career out of being mediocre at best.
Yeah. Chad Henne.
I can't talk that much crap. I can't throw a football, but here we go.
He's 33. Oh, yeah, 11 years. So he's 33 years old. His career quarterback rating is 75.5. It's literally between 0 and 150.
And it's 75.
That's
average.
That's pretty amazing.
We call that average.
Yeah. All right, so Giants beat Detroit 30-17. Eli Manning didn't have any passing stats. Okay.
Does that mean he didn't play?
I thought I saw him out for one series, but maybe my eyes were deceiving me.
Maybe he just handed off the ball every single time.
Yeah, possibly. Matt Stafford 2 for 5, nothing special. He was sacked twice. They need to get that line fixed. His backup quarterback though went 23 for 30 for 171 and a touchdown. Jay Ruddock. I don't know who that guy is. Apparently the Garrett Blunt went to the Lions now. So is he thinking the Lions are going to win a Super Bowl now?
No, he's thinking he wants some paychecks before he checks out.
Oh, okay.
He probably doesn't care about winning as much as he thinks about getting that money.
I was just thinking,
Detroit's not
the
gonna
last
win
2
anything.
teams he was with won a Super Bowl.
I mean, is Detroit about to win a Super Bowl?
I have no idea.
I wouldn't bet on it.
Detroit, yeah.
Detroit paid that man, put on that uniform. He said, "Thank you."
Thank you.
you.
Yep. The Bills look unbelievably like they're about to start Nathan Peterman, of all people. The guy who came in one game last year for Tyrod Taylor because the coach decided to bench Taylor, and he threw 5 interceptions right off the bat. And then they put Tyrod back in the game, and Tyrod went for 2 touchdowns.
This sounds like someone doesn't know how to coach a football team.
Yeah.
Why would you? Numbers. Numbers are the first thing that you need to look at, and then numbers.
I don't know.
5 interceptions. Yes, you get start week 1. 5. Yes, I know. Peyton Manning threw 5 interceptions in a game once too. Don't remind me.
Baker Mayfield, 7 for 13. Tyrod Taylor, 4 for 7. Yeah, pretty pedantic stats. Carlos Hyde, 9 rushes, 64 yards, and a touchdown. Nick Chubb, 11 rushes, 53 yards, and a touchdown. So the rushers for Cleveland are getting their fair share. So that's to look for is who's going to start for Cleveland. Is it going to be Nick Chubb or is it going to be Carlos Hyde? Because Nick Chubb was the high draft pick they got, but Carlos Hyde is who they traded for from San Francisco. So that'll be something to look for. Also, if you didn't know, Cleveland is starring in HBO's Hard Knocks this season.
I've heard. I don't know anything about Hard Knocks. Never actually watched the show before.
I saw they put out their first episode for free on YouTube. A lot of people are downvoting it. I'm inclined to join them because what they're saying is basically Hugh Jackson doesn't know how to coach the team. Josh Gordon, who has still not reported to training camp, he's dealing with either some personal issues or I don't want to speculate because they haven't speculated on what it is he's dealing with either. People were saying it might have had something to do with drugs, but also he never failed any tests, so possibly not. So nobody really knows what he's dealing with. also, and they had receiver issues with Antonio Callaway and Corey Coleman, where Corey Coleman was upset with the offensive coordinator, Todd Haley, and for putting him on the second team instead of the first team in practice, and also for saying that he was being unfair to him for blaming him for not catching balls in practice, and he was saying the balls that were thrown were not catchable, and he was being held. And Haley said, basically, you're just looking for excuses. And he went into the head coach, Hugh Jackson, and said, why am I on the second team? And then he said, if y'all don't want me here, just, why don't you trade me? And then he was traded to the Buffalo Bills for a draft pick. So yeah, there's a bit of, it just seems like there's some dysfunction still happening in Cleveland.
As always.
The defensive coordinator looks like he's got his stuff together. The quarterbacks and running backs look okay. And one wide receiver looks good. And Jarvis Landry. I was just saying it how I saw it. And, other than that, it looks like they do have a lot of work cut out for them. That's all I'm going to say.
3 wins.
3 wins. All right, so on to the next topic, which is Major League Baseball coming up on the home stretch.
It's August. Some teams are out.
It's in the hunt for September.
And the rest of us are heating up.
The heat is on.
I haven't actually watched a whole lot of baseball this week, so all I've got to say is that this wild card race is completely out of control. Yeah, there's a lot going on in the American League West right now. The Athletics and the Astros have the exact same record, and the Mariners are right behind them. And looking up at the Yankees being in second place in the American League East, and they have a better record than all 3 of those teams. So, good luck in the American League, because making the playoffs is going to be a dogfight. And somebody that's really, really good is going to get left out, and that's the nature of the game.
Speaking of which, the Athletics right now are leading the Astros in the bottom of the second 2-0. And it's a fight for first place in the AL West.
Oh, man, they playing a series this weekend?
Yeah, apparently. So if the A's can beat the Astros at least 2 or 3, they're going to take the AL West title for at least a 1 or a half game lead. For realsies. And who'd have thought, the Oakland A's of all, this team was at least in 3rd or 4th place 30 games ago. Back in the beginning of July, the team was all the way down next to last place. And to see them come all the way back, tied for first now, towards the end of August and going into the playoffs, is pretty remarkable.
It reminds me of that year the Colorado Rockies won 22 games in a row straight, and they went from pretty much being a long shot out of contention to getting a 1-game playoff. Do you remember that? I think that was 7 or 8 years ago. I don't remember.
I do remember, the whole Moneyball thing. Where the A's made it to the playoffs.
That was actually a little bit longer ago than I thought it was. The Rockies, 2007, won 21 out of 22 games, swept in the 2007 World Series by the Boston Red Sox.
Now, when did the A's go on that 19-game winning streak and make the playoffs in the Moneyball thing? I think it was 19 games they won in a row.
2002, Oakland A's won 20 consecutive games, American League record. They won the AL West with a record of 103-59, lost the division series to the Twins in 5 games.
So, yeah, the A's could be in position for a similar run like they had back in 2002, only, hopefully better outcome than losing in the division.
I know, right? To do all of that and then lose immediately.
Yeah. Well, no, I thought they had won the wild card.
Well, they went to the division round, but that's not satisfying enough.
Yeah, no, it's not. You need to get at least to the ALCS.
And even then, it's got to be at least an interesting series.
Yeah.
It won't work out.
Unless you're the 2003 Cubs.
Oh, hey. Really?
What? I'm sorry.
Soft spot.
I said unless. Or, what? Who was the other team? I was trying to think of.
Hurt my feelings.
My bad.
I'm just kidding. I'm not. It's fine. Barman happened. We got a championship. It's all good. That moment still does make my heart jump though.
Yeah.
Like, for real.
So as for standings, the Red Sox are just blowing everybody out of the water. They're 88-37, and they have how many games left to go?
I don't know.
I believe. I'm trying to think. $88-37. So it was last year. They were 93-69. So they have 37 more games left in the season. So they could technically get 125 games, 125 wins on the season if they won every single game from now on. Can you believe that?
That sounds like it's. Yeah, that actually sounds like it's about right.
Yeah. Has a team ever won that many games in history?
I don't know.
125? Cleveland won 102 last year. Well, I know it's easy. I don't say it's easy to win 100, but it's more common to just Los Angeles won 100. The LA Dodgers won 104 games. They were 104-58.
The record is the 1906 Chicago Cubs. 116 wins, 36 losses.
Wow.
The only team that has come close since is the 2001 Mariners team that tied the record with Lou Piniella at the helm.
Lou Piniella.
One fiery Lou Piniella.
Who went on to coach... he had coached the Cubs.
He did go on to manage the Cubs, yes. And he was a wonderful, wonderful sight to
I had
see.
the video. They had compilations of angry managers getting ejected.
And he's got some of the best bits.
His first game as a Cubs manager, he got ejected.
Out. Oh yeah, we knew what we had signed up for.
That was amazing.
It was great. It's exactly what I signed up for.
Yelling at the ref on third base and kicking dirt on.
Yes, kicking dirt. Yes.
It's like Lou Piniella in his first game as a Cubs manager gets thrown out and kicks dirt on.
Everyone's freaking out and acting like it's something that they didn't see coming, and I'm like, guys.
Oh my goodness! I'll have to watch that later.
Great.
So right now, as it stands, the Yankees, Cleveland, Boston, Houston, and Oakland are the teams from the AL that are going to make the playoffs. And the Yankees, and if the game holds today, the Astros will be the ones playing the wild card game. And Oakland will get to host the divisional series. What? Who would have thunk it? And then the NL side, woefully short of the 88 game mark as every single other team. The Atlanta Braves are tied with the Phillies at 68 and 55 games apiece. Chicago Cubs at 71-51. And the Arizona Diamondbacks and the Colorado Rockies are also tied in their division, 68-56 games. Now there are 2 ties in the NL. That's amazing. And the Dodgers are only 2 games back. My Giants have just fallen completely.
Come on.
No, it's too late. Yeah. The Reds had a shot last month when they were only down 12 games in the last place, and now they've fallen down 17 game back. So, yeah, the Reds are pretty much just settling for last place.
Not for long. It'll be okay.
I mean, they technically have the best record of all the last place teams, but, that's not a good mark to hold. They actually have a better record than the Mets, who are in 4th place in the NL East. They have a better record than the Detroit Tigers, Chicago White Sox, and the Royals. 3 of the teams in the AL Central. Yeah, if the Cincinnati Reds were in the AL Central, they would be in 2nd place right now. That's either how bad the AL Central is or how good the Reds are. Take your pick.
I would go with a sign of how strong the National League Central has become over the past few years.
Oh, okay. The third option.
I'm going to pick C.
Okay. All right. Well, so that's baseball right now for you. The Cubs and the Pirates are in the top of the 10th, tied at 1. A thriller right now.
Yay.
A thriller in Manila.
It always hurts my soul when we can't do it in regular time.
Yep. See, look at this. I'm sorry, I'm just going on a rant right now. But you have games like this where the Reds tear up the Giants 11-4, apparently. And yet they constantly are able to sit in last place. Look, the Reds, Giants, 11-4. Reds, in the regular season series, the Reds beat the Giants 4 games out of 6. How?
How, Sway?
How, Sway? How?
Call back. Peyton Manning set a career record with, I believe it was 6 interceptions. 5 in the first half against the Chargers. 2007.
Interesting.
He had 6 total, 5 in the first half, 34 for 58, 328 yards. That game was a nightmare because Darren Sproles scored on a punt return and a kickoff for a return, and it would only get worse from there. The Colts after that game were 7-2. The Chargers 5-4. I don't remember who won that Super Bowl. Anyway, moving on to the football side.
Okay.
Starting off with Bayern. Cup competition. The Super Cup wasn't even really that much of a competition. 5-0 Bayern. Lewandowski with a hat trick. Kingsley Coman and Thiago also scored. And then they decided they had to play the DFB Pokal, which is the cup competition. They're playing against a 4th tier side actually, and instead the interesting thing is that they destroyed Frankfurt 5-0, and they struggled and barely after 80 minutes scored a goal off of Lewandowski again naturally, and beat them 1-0. 80 minutes to break down a 4th tier side. That's what happens when you're organized in defense. But in great news in the football community, Manchester United lost again today. It was great. It was great to watch. It's great to watch them lose. City beat Huddersfield this morning 6-1, which was just amazing to watch. 80% possession, just watching them just hold on to the ball and pass it back and forth, just picking out their spots. And Huddersfield did manage a 0-0 in the end of last season, so they kind of had hopes that they could kind of park the bus a little bit and do it all over again. And you'll never score a goal on us, City. No, it's not how it works. Sergio Aguero scored a hat trick. Sane showed Germany exactly what was missing in the World Cup, forcing an own goal. David Silva was David Silva. Kevin De Bruyne is out for 3 months with this knee injury, and it doesn't even really look like the team's really going to miss too much. We got another sighting of Riyad Mahrez. I don't care for Riyad Mahrez. I won't lie. He's a luxury player. And he had his big chance today to endear himself to the fans. And he could have just played Sane in right down the middle. It would have been nice and simple. Nope. Mahrez had to take the complicated shot, go for the top corner in the near post, and he didn't even hit the target. And that right there is exactly why he doesn't start. He's a little bit too greedy. It's not much I want. Eden Hazard came on as a substitute in the London Derby, Arsenal versus Chelsea, and his play led directly to the third goal. Chelsea wins 3-2. Arsenal starting over. Arsenal not starting off too good. We'll see how their season plays out. The last thing that I really wanted to touch on was Barcelona getting their season started up again. 3-0 against Alaves, making it look real simple. Real Madrid, meanwhile, starting their post-Cristiano Ronaldo era, are currently playing Getafe and are up 1-0. I've seen that Dani Carvajal has scored. I am not sure how he managed to do that, but it is 1-0 in the 36th minute right now. Real Madrid 1, Getafe 0. Cristiano Ronaldo did, however, he has, however, been playing for Juventus. He did not score last weekend. He did not score this weekend, I should say. Not Real Madrid. See? Ronaldo. Real Madrid. Not synonymous anymore. Ronaldo and Juventus did walk out 3-2 winners over Chievo this weekend. But it was difficult. That's really all that I wanted to get into. Because I'm still celebrating the fact that Manchester United managed to lose to Brighton, and we destroyed Huddersfield. I love you, David Wagner, and it's cool to see an American managing in the Premier League, but it's just the golfing class is a bit too much for most people at this point when it comes to playing against City. The team's just too good. It's wonderful to watch. And even, like I said, even without Kevin De Bruyne, who was well on his way to being in the conversation for the Ballon d'Or, which is unfortunate. But here we go, Luka Modric. It's going to be yours. Yeah, it's going to be a fun season. We've got a lot of different things coming up. A lot of these leagues are wide open. Paris probably is going to win in France, but Germany, I think if Bayern show any lack of ambition over the course of the season, I think they've got a lot of different teams to look out for. Schalke, Borussia Dortmund. Except for France already. Italy's interesting. Everyone's caught up to Juventus finally. Or everybody had finally caught up to Juventus. We'll see what happens now that they've got Ronaldo and they bought Bonucci back from Milan, although they did let Higuain go. And we'll see if Higuain decides that he wants to score for Milan as much as he has scored for Napoli and Juventus over the past couple of years. I think Italy's going to be a really interesting title race. The Premier League, obviously, no one's been able to repeat in a really long time, so it's always going to be interesting to see who comes up with that. And there's also the fact that Ronaldo being at Juventus is going to change the Champions League completely around. Real Madrid are not going to be the favorites, and you got to pick the field. And that means City have a really good chance too. You've got Schalke. It's going to be in the Champions League for the first time. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited. PSG taking another chance. Like, there's a lot of things going on. I'm excited for the season. Let's do this.
Sounds exciting. I just wanted to point out how I don't know, gutsy is the word, or like brash reporters are in their descriptions of soccer games. On the ESPN right now, somebody wrote a report, and in the title of the report it says "Pathetic Manchester United prove Jose Mourinho warning true and Brighton embarrassment." And I just want to say, this is from a reporter.
I wouldn't go so far as to call Manchester United pathetic. They're going to finish in the top 4. Like, dang.
I just want to say, I haven't seen a NFL reporter or an NBA reporter put this title after a game performance.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's a single game.
Like, this wasn't in quotes. Like, nobody else said this about them except for the reporter.
No, this is the reporter's.
This is the reporter's own words.
Pathetic.
Yeah. Like, this is hilarious.
It's
Manchester United correspondent. Huh.
The Manchester United fans have ridiculously high expectations after having Sir Alex Ferguson like win consistently for 20 odd years. Excuse me. I just think that the club created unrealistic expectations for what success is, because people don't understand. Like, it's incredibly difficult to win the Champions League once, let alone 3 times in a row the way Real Madrid has done it. It's incredibly difficult to win the Premier League twice in a row, which no one's done since Sir Alex Ferguson did it the last time. It's absolutely ridiculously hard to hold on to any of these competitions for years in a row, which makes it so crazy that it is happening in Juventus at Juventus in Italy. It's crazy that it's happening that way in Spain with Barcelona and the Copa del Rey. Like, winning competitions year in and year out, not just being up there, but winning year in and year out is so incredibly difficult. And that's why Pep Guardiola is like, yo, like, I can only win so many trophies at once, and we can only focus on so many at once, because spreading yourself too thin is just going to leave you disappointed. Like, there's a lot of different things going on there. But when it comes to Jose Mourinho, it's just the fans have started to turn on him. The media is really starting to turn on Jose Mourinho. I think it's going to be a matter of time until people really start calling for Jose to get fired. Apparently, he's the odds-on favorite to get fired, according to bookkeepers over there. Jose Mourinho just creates that kind of atmosphere where, like, either it's going really, really great or it's really, really awful. And I think that we're watching it, like, slide from great to awful, because even though this team finished second place last year, everything about it seems unsatisfying, and everything about it seems to make Jose Mourinho really upset. And they didn't go out and buy any of the players that he really wanted in the transfer window. They did get him Fred, but the biggest signing that they probably got out of that was Fred. But aside from that, they really haven't made too much business, and he's probably just not excited to be coaching basically the same players. And that comes down to the board not doing what they were supposed to do. That comes down to the owners and the people who are working with transfers, who they didn't pursue the people that he wanted. And he's been making stinks about that, and he's been upset about the performances on the pitch. And yeah, you're right. Manchester United has no business losing to Brighton at all. But Brighton came with it. They scored 3 goals very, very quickly, and they were like, "You're gonna have to come with it today." And Manchester United. It looked good that it was 3-2, but it was 3-2 at the very end of the game. They didn't look too good. Manchester United really didn't look good at all today. So, yeah, like I said, Jose Mourinho is probably going to wind up getting fired. And it's going to be interesting to see just how everybody decides to handle that.
Wow, it sounds like there is a lot brewing under the surface.
Oh, the season has just started. It's so wonderful.
In the Premier League.
I haven't even started talking about Paris.
And European soccer. But as we all know, the United Kingdom wanted to get out of the European League. So they made their Brexit. And now they are just in the UK League. No, I'm just kidding.
That's not how that works. Not how any of that works.
They no longer play other teams.
It's just A team versus B team. Everybody's own A team versus their own B team. We're not even allowed to compete against other people's B teams.
They have to pay a tax to get across the ocean.
Exactly.
You
have to pay a tax.
The English Channel.
You have to pay every time you kick the ball.
Yep.
It's $5 a kick.
Yep.
It's an expensive kick. Yeah, man. They pass the ball around a lot. It's an expensive goal.
So, thank you, Tuesday, for the soccer update. So after we've covered NFL, baseball, soccer, what else would we have to cover except
we would have to cover the recap. You can follow us on Instagram at the Indoorfins Podcast. Follow us on Twitter. We are at the Real Indoorfins. You can find us on Facebook. We are the Indoorfins Podcast, Indianapolis. And obviously, you found us on YouTube, Indoorfins Podcast. If you like what you hear and you'd like for us to improve and get more from us, donate to our Patreon. If you'd like to interact with us, send us a tweet, send us a like, interact with us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, the whole works. Leave a comment, leave a like, and subscribe. Tell your friends, tell your fam. We have a lot more in store. We have a lot going on. Obviously, like I said, pieces are moving because I've got a new job and things are just changing in my life and taking up different kinds of time. So I'm just learning to reclaim all of my time and squeeze everything in more efficiently so that I can get more things done in the course of a day and still go to work and get enough things done for me that I actually feel like I'm improving as a person. So, but other than that, I think we've covered pretty much everything that we've wanted to cover for this week. We did not want to have another 2.5 hour episode. As much fun as we do have sticking around with each other for 2.5 hours, it's probably a little bit too long for the average consumer.
Right.
So we're very conscious of what we want to give to you guys. So like I said, interact with us on any and all these platforms, and we'd be more than willing to interact back. All questions, concerns, things to bring up on the podcast, shout outs and whatnot. We do all of that.
Coming in on the 49th minute. Just one last thing. Kyle Kuzma, we didn't get to the NBA, but just one little NBA thing. Said critics are underestimating the new look Lakers. Thoughts? Do you think they are being underestimated? Yes or no?
I think when they go out there and have a better record than the Golden State Warriors, we can have this conversation. I don't care about the Lakers, and I won't care about the Lakers until they actually go out there and beat Golden State. Sorry, LeBron, it's not happening. I'm not buying it.
You heard it here first, folks.
Not buying it. Lakers are a pretender until they go out there and win 55, 60 games.
That's a lot of games.
In the West.
All right. Well, my prediction is the Lakers will come in 4th in the West. Nope. Wait, hold on. That's too high. I forgot for a split second how many teams they get in the playoffs. My prediction is the Lakers will come in 7th in the West, ahead of a whole bunch of 38, 43 win teams. And they will make the playoffs, but they will get bounced in either the second round or the third round. I think they'll have a first round surprise win, but then they'll hit back to reality against the Rockets or the Warriors.
I just want to see Anthony Davis take on LeBron James for an entire series. I want to see them play defense against each other. Or more importantly, I really just want to see Anthony Davis play defense on LeBron James. That's what I want.
Well, the unibrow can block shots by itself.
I feel like the unibrow would eat LeBron James alive over a 7-game series. I feel like Anthony Davis would be the better player. That's what I want.
Prediction Sunday.
Yes.
All right.
I stick by it.
Well, we're coming to the end of the show. Thank you for tuning in once again to the Indoorfins Podcast. I'm Ethan.
I'm Tuesday. We love you guys. We'll see you next week.
Have a nice day.
Au revoir.